probably should have looped that. I'm just reacquainting myself with Creamy here. You guys know Creamy. She lost her. Why? You know what? Here's a note, folks. You should glue these things on. You know why? Because who is me to stop me from having fun in the middle of a performance just because my freaking thing comes flying off? And I'll tell you this much. Those threads on here, it's a cheese grater. Yeah, I did feel it. And if you guys don't know this, this is a Harley Benton ST62 vintage white. Caramel neck, maple footboard. Everything is stock with the exception that I think I replaced the entire bridge and replaced all the saddles because I like to be on, over here. And I don't like pokey bits, the standard, Fender stuff. And if you see very close, you'll see that I like to float my bridges. And this is a complete floater. It stays in tune most of the time. If you're not really throwing things at it and, going crazy, There you go. This is my Creamy. So the only thing I did upgrade here were the pickups. And the pickups in here are the Fender Eric Johnson series, signature series pickups. So it's got an Alnico 5 and two Alnico 5s and one Alnico 3. See if you guys can figure out which one the 3 is in. Anyway, so that's what is coming out of this guitar, these kind of tones. And, okay, so now, of course, yeah, I can go a little crazy sometimes. And sometimes, sometimes in the mood. And, but for the most part, I like to say I always have my my booster in line. Oh, it's like the most important thing. After having an amplifier, if you're gonna be, if you're gonna play one of these things, you wanna be amplified. So you wanna go through a speaker. It's the whole point. I mean, seriously, because if you guys are relegated to like just playing in headphones, well, that's okay. What I don't want to burst your bubble. It's a beautiful bubble. You can live in it. Like, enjoy. I'll support it. So. But I feel sorry for you because there's something that you get when you are connected to an amplifier, and there's feedback. There's the room is vibrating. It doesn't matter what room you're in. You can be in your living room. You can be on a stage. You can be in a cafe. You can be at your friend's living room. You can be on someone's patio one day, and you're playing, and you just got to make do with what you got, and sometimes you don't have anything. So what do you do? Well, what do you don't? You can't participate and say, when someone says, is there a doctor in the house? And you're a doctor, what would you do? Oh, I can't get on stage. No, if someone says, is there a guitarist in the house? And you go, oh God, but there's no amps, no pedal board. And, this guy he has what looks like a guitar, it's built with a door hinge on it. I don't know. It's like, and the name, I don't know what the hell it is. It's not my color. It's like, oh my God. It's not even plugged in. The guy's asking if there's a guitar player with a cable. It's like, what am I? Do I travel with a cable? And you have a cable in the back seat of your car somewhere. You could walk to the parking lot. You could get it right now. And you're thinking to yourself, should I be that doctor? No, someone is calling for calling for a guitarist. And but you don't have all your gear. You don't have all your pedals. You don't even have a guitar with you, but you happen to have just a cable. It could be maybe in the glove compartment. Maybe you put it there because you think it's kind of iffy. It's like just in case of emergency. And now it's that moment in time. Someone is calling for someone in the audience. Can someone assist us, please? So How much of a doctor are you? I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like the way Gene Simmons of Kiss put it. I think he just said, "You call me Doctor Love." That's it. I mean, what's the point of picking up a guitar? Seriously, really, what's the point if you're not picking it up because you want to play it? Tell me you're doing something else. You should be doing something else, really. There's no. It's like if it doesn't inspire you to pick it up, then I don't know. You could give it away, but give it away to a cause, or if you're not to that level yet, and you just want to, you should at least display it, So maybe it will collect dust, and that's probably good for the dust. They can be collected, and you could just wipe it off. You can just let it display on the wall. Maybe some kid one day will say, "Hey, what's that?" You'll say, that's a long gone thing that people used to play on, electrified. It makes sounds, and it collects dust for me. And maybe that kid will be inspired to say, "Hey, moron, can I borrow that?" Or I'll mow your lawn for you. So I think this the investment is you're paying it forward I think when you're getting it in the first place. Does that make any sense? Well, it should, because if you're if you're not in it because you just totally love it, then what are you in it for? Are you in it to make a lot of money, selling it, buying it? What's the value of that? I know I have that stuff, but besides that, so like, I think to me the value is like, how much time is it requiring me, or how much time of my time it's taking from me because it wants me to play it. That's kind of weird. And I have a lot of stuff. You know that, right? So maybe I'm a semi hoarder, but at the same time, they're all my babies. And, it's not like I'd be a terrible pig farmer. I couldn't do it. I don't know if I have the heart to do it, so I can't. I'm not. All right. This is not a piggy. This is not a piggy episode. Anyway, so this is creamy. A Harley Benton ST62 and with maple neck, maple fretboard. These caramelized maple necks are just such a pleasant thing to hold, and for any guitarist. And here's the funny part. I think many experienced guitarists, once they hold this, they'll understand. So I think that's where we're going now. I think we have to pay attention to more as guitar players about what a guitar feels like. Hey, in my theater life, I was taught a very important lesson. Imagine you're an audience member and your seat, it's anywhere. It could be maybe one of the poorest seats. But here's the catch: you're deaf. All right. Would you be able to understand the comedy or what's happening on stage, being that the actor or musician on stage is making a conscious effort to not only speak vocally, but speak with gestures and song and dance, Because that's how I think the truest human connection of entertainment is, how we would pass on stories to one another. And most of it, many times, I believe, included some sort of dance, ritual, something to be carried on. And these stories carried on. And we don't need to really learn the language, except learn how to learn a language, a different language, or a universal language, and that's what I'm talking about. So now I'm here with this Harley Benton that's really pleasing the hell out of me. So again, well, to recap, these have been swapped. These were once Roswell pickups, and I don't want to give a Roswell a bad rap because actually Roswell was actually fine in this guitar. I liked it. That being said, I gotta hand it to the Eric Johnson Signature Series pickups. That's it. Um, and I installed it myself. It was an easy thing. I should have videoed it. Maybe I'll take it apart because I have some other modifications in here. Maybe I'll show it to you. I should. Okay. Moving on. So as you can see, the modifications were I replaced the saddles so that my hand can be here. These are all the original pots. I did change the knobs. I even changed the tip color. As you know, I changed the pickups. That's why they're now this color. Kind of even matches this, right? How about that? There's the back of it. I don't know if anyone sees, but and I do set up all my guitars as floaters nowadays. I think floating your guitar, either way, I think I'm just gonna say, it doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't matter. I don't want to say to anyone that who likes what they're doing to change. They shouldn't. But I'm gonna say, now for years. Many years. Actually, I didn't like Fender. Maybe it's because of the era I was in. The 70s. Or because I grew up in the 60s, but by the 70s, these things were out. And at least I saw them more, but I couldn't afford them. I was too much of a kid. But they were, all right. But then when I got to, in the 80s, to Berkeley, I saw a couple of friends of mine having some 70 guitars, Fenders. And I befriended a really good one. We were roommates once. Long story short is he had his Fender Stratocaster. Ian, I love you. I always love you. You know me. But it's just your guitar. I kind of wish you. It's like your best friend who has his girlfriend with him all the time. But it's like not the, and she's But if she was like I want to grab and hold her too. But Ian had this Stratocaster, and I'll never forget it. I was kind of sad in a way for Ian. It's like, oh man, of all the guitars, you got to play this one. Aw, and I think he held true to his, his however long he held it. I don't know if you still have that, Ian, because it was hard for me to erase delete that memory. So ever since that, I had looked at Fender very poorly, and it was very, very poorly for another 20 years. That's how long that one experience left me. And it was from a good friend. And I loved Ian. And I never told Ian that I really didn't like his guitar. And I tried it many times. I tried to like it. I tried to find oh, Ian, why are you playing this? I mean, I wish had I come over to his side of the room and out by the bed or by the against the wall would be this guitar instead of that thing, even though it had a Fender name on it. This thing, I think personally, I would pick this guitar. All right, I can't go there. No, no, no. Sorry, sorry. This is not a bashing channel. I don't bash